Hello folks, and welcome to the next chapter, a brand new chapter of the Four Against Darkness series that I've been putting together. I'm the Lone Adventurer, and welcome to a whole new day for my Four Against Darkness team. Now, the last couple of videos, which saw us playing through the Tunbar, the Curse of the Unliving Ones adventure, was a 50-50 success. I kind of sort of lost my way a little bit, lost momentum, didn't really know whether we were succeeding or not. And it went kind of okay. We achieved a couple of the objectives, but I think you had to kill all the brigands and I wasn't able to do that, and so it just sort of petered out. But we live to fight another day, and the aim of this video is just going to be to use a couple of different resources, some of which I haven't used before, and just to get things kick-started again with sort of a basic dungeon delve using the core rulebook, but implementing some different bits and pieces. And these are the things we're going to be using. We're going to be using Twisted Dungeons. This is basically one big table, and you roll some dice, and your dungeon gets a sort of a unique spin on it. So we'll be doing that. We'll be also using Twisted Minions, which is the same sort of thing, but for minions. So all of the minions we encounter in the dungeon will have some sort of interesting twist on them. We'll obviously be rolling those before we start on the adventure, so we know what we're letting ourselves in for. And this is something that I got brand new this week. This is Wayfarers and Adventurers. And this supplement comes with a bunch of different new character classes, like the Wood Elf and the Green Troll and the Martial Mystic, which sound awesome. But I've got a full cast of characters at the moment, so unless someone dies, and I suppose it could happen given the fact that we're using Twisted Minions and Dungeons in one adventure, unless someone dies, we're basically sticking with our main team. But this also has in it something else that I'm interested in. Looking at the contents, and I can't quite see. Is it character traits? I think that's what we're looking for, character traits. So character traits are quirks and flaws and little interesting sort of character snippets that you can apply to a character to give them something interesting. And this is a D66 table, which means you roll 2 dice. For example, if we say blue's the 1s, red's the 10s, that would be 53. I would have rolled 53. We'd turn to 53 in here and find out an interesting character trait. So I think what I quite like is here, where it says you can roll before the character's first game. You can also decide to allow already established characters to roll. In a way, it will be like when a writer reveals a character's personality a little at a time over the course of a novel. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a character trait to, should we say, two of the characters, and rather than overwhelming myself with giving them a trait each straight away, we'll just do half of the party. I suck at remembering additional rules and considerations, so if I try to do all 4 at once, I would forget stuff. There's no doubt about it. So let's start with... Sure, I think I'm going to start with Helgo the Cleric. Let's roll and see if we can find out something interesting about Helgo. 53. Is that the number I rolled at the start? I think it was actually, wasn't it? 53. What have we got? 53. Polymath. Cool. Use the rules for milestones. See below. The character with this trait may take 2 milestones at the same time. As soon as he completes 1 milestone, he may take another. What the heck are milestones? Here we go, these are milestones. I'm just going to read about this quickly. Alright, so milestones are basically little targets and objectives that your character can work towards. So because Helga is a polymath, he can take 2 milestones, and I'm gonna select them randomly. So the first one is 65. Shrine to Thugas Min. Thugas Min is the positive aspect of Thugas, the god of thunder. The temple to Thugas Min must contain a fireplace with a fire that must burn at all times. Travellers are allowed to use this fire to warm up or to cook their food, so shrines to Thugas Min are popular among adventurers. Building the temple costs 500 gold pieces. This must be paid in instalments of 100 gold pieces between adventures. Once the last instalment is paid, the temple is ready. Between each adventure, the character should pay 5 gold pieces as a fee to a guardian of the flame, a clergyman who ensures that the flame is kept alive at all times. As long as the flame burns, all party members get a permanent +2 on saves versus frost and cold attacks, and +1 on all attacks against creatures with the words ice, frost, winter heart or snow in their names. Whoa, there's loads of stuff there for me to forget. Right, so I'm going to make a little note down here, and maybe I'll make a reference to this page, so I just refer back. Remember to do that. Right, so I've made a little note down here, building shrine to Thugas, and I've given myself 5 little things to tick off, each representing 100 gold pieces that he has to spend. And then I've started a new page of notes and written that Helga is building this shrine, has to pay 500, 5 gold pieces upkeep between adventures, and gives a +1 on saves versus cold, icy enemies, and +1 on attacks versus the same. Now I'm supposed to do 2 things because the idea was that Helga was a polymath, but you know what? I'm only getting started on adding this kind of complexity to my characters, so I think I'm just going to have that going on. So rather than give Helga a whatchamacallit, a character trait, we'll just go with this other thing, the name of which I've also forgotten, a milestone. So Helga has a milestone rather than a character trait. So let's also give a milestone potentially to Quip, the rogue. 53, isn't that the same one? What's the deal with these dice? 54, that's very weird. Always in the front line. The character must always be placed in one of the 2 front spaces of the marching order. You know what, I think I do that anyway. In addition, the character must be assigned any extra attacks performed by enemies if possible. Okay. For example, if 5 minions attack the party, the extra attack must be assigned to the character with this trait. If 6 enemies attack the party, one of the 2 extra attacks must be assigned to the character. I'm not sure I like that one. I'm going to re-roll, try something different. 31. What have we got? 31. Spell talent. The character should choose 1 spell. When the character casts that spell, either from a scroll, magic item, or from character's spell-casting ability, if the character is a wizard or other spell-casting class, the character does so at +1. Barbarians do not get the bonus, but may learn to override their fear and hatred of magic and learn to cast a spell, blah 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 blah. So can anyone use a scroll? Well, I'm pretty sure that only wizards and clerics can cast blessing, and wizards and elves can cast other spells, and quit isn't either of those things. So maybe I should just flip this round and give the spell talent to Solana the elf. I think I'll do that. And Solana's already got 2 fireball scrolls, so I'm going to give Solana the spell talent. So that's +1 to fireball spells. So now on to the specific dungeon that we're about to go into. And we're going to roll on the Twisted Dungeons table. 36. What have we got? A magical library. Play as a regular dungeon, but any time you find magic treasure, you may automatically decide that you've found a random scroll from any scroll table from any 4 Against Darkness book you own. I don't really know what other scroll tables I've got access to. I guess I'll have to have a hunt if it actually happens. The final boss will automatically have 2 scrolls in addition to any other treasure. You may at any moment spend 2 clues to find 1 scroll with 1 random spell. This is pretty cool. The final boss, the Guardian of the Magic Library, will have +2 life points. Cool. Right, immediately misspelt magic. Literally the second letter I put on the sheet was a spelling error. So, magic library. And I'm just going to make a couple of notes to remind me of this stuff. So when we find magic treasure, it can be a random scroll from any table. Final boss has 2 scrolls as extra treasure, +2 extra life, and any time we can spend 2 clues to gain 1 random scroll. So I guess the theory is we'll come out of this adventure kind of sort of scrolled up with scrolls all over the place. And we're also going to roll on Twisted Minions to get something from here. This is a D100. Cool. That does mean I'll need some D10s. Alright, let's see what these pesky minions are going to be up to. We'll have the purple as the 10s. So we've got 94. The minions are protected by a demonic force. Each time one of them is killed, roll d6. On a 1 to 4, the minion stays dead. On a 5 or a 6, the minion instantly comes back to life. Well, this is going to get annoying, isn't it? As an undead. If the minions were already undead in the first place, nothing changes. The bones and rotting flesh regenerate just enough tissue to continue fighting. In addition, due to the demonic presence, any blessing or healing spell in the minion's presence will fail on the d6 roll of 1. Any losses cause the minions to roll for morale. If losses cause the minions to roll for morale, they must do so, and eventually flee if they fail. Okay, so I've just written the minions are protected by a demonic force. On death, you roll a d6. 1 to 4 stay dead, 5 to 6 back to life. Blessings, healing spells fail on d6 roll of 1. And the bit about morale rolls, I will just try and remember. Well, it's probably time to get started, isn't it? So let me just get my marching order in order. As always, we have Dorazol and Quip at the front, and Solana and Helgo bringing up the rear. So I think we should probably just get started. Let's roll and see what entrance we're going to have. 5, so we've got this one here. Alright, nothing happens in the first room. So let's go over here to the left. So this is our first proper room. So we roll D66. What did I say? Blues is the ones. So that's 51. 51 is this weird little corridor here. Let's draw that on. And what's in the corridor? So this is rolling 2d6 on the room contents table, and we've rolled a 6. And a 6 on a corridor means roll d6 vermin tables. We've got our first scrap straight away. D6 on the vermin table. A 6 is some skeletal rats. Lovely. 5 skeletal rats. They are a level 3 undead creature with no treasure. Crushing weapon attacks are at +1, but they cannot be attacked by bows and slings. Clerics add level when attacking them because they're undead. Thanks for the reminder. Let's start with Dorazol. That seems to be the standard sort of thing that I do. Just wondering, has anyone got a crushing weapon? My suspicion is it doesn't matter too much because I'm going to, without appearing overly confident, I don't think the skeletal rats are going to present too much of an issue. So, Dorazol, attack. 3. What kind of bonus does he get? He gets +3. I guess because he gets +1 for using the axe and +2 for his level, so he's getting a total of 6. That kills 2 skeletal rats because they're level 3, and so when he hits an attack of 3 he kills 1, when he hits 6 he kills a second one. So that was Dorazol. Nice start there, matey. And Quip. 5. That sounds pretty good as well. Quip only adds when he's against outnumbered minions. So that's not these guys. So he's only killed 1. Solana. Ooh, 1. Insta-fail. That's a shame. And Helgo. 3, 4. So there's 1 skeletal rat left. Of course, before we killed that one, we should have rolled for morale, which I always forget to do. So we roll d6, and then if we roll a 3 or less, the monsters flee. There we go. So the final skeletal rat flees, and the fight is done. So we don't get any treasure from them. We just get the pleasure of killing a bunch of rats. Right, let's move on and go down here. 13 gives us this sort of snaky, weird room. How am I going to do this? I guess we'll do it like that. Not particularly pretty. 1, 2. So basically, if I colour that door in, am I going to remember it's blocked off? So I don't know if you sort of block doors off or whether they just sort of go into the existing room or the new room, but it doesn't really matter because we've already got a door into this. And that actually hits the edge of the dungeon anyway, so that's not going anywhere really. So what's in this second room? Corridor rather, second corridor. 3 is empty. We could search it. Let's search. I think one thing that I discovered in the last game into Tumbar is that I don't search often enough. Basically for fear of getting additional creatures, being attacked by additional creatures, but do you know what? I think I should start searching more. So let's have a look if we find anything in this room. 1. Hey, this is why. This is why. Wandering monster attack. What wandering monster are we going to get? 3. Roll on the minions table. Brilliant. So this is our first group of minions that we've encountered, and if you remember, because we're in a dungeon where the minions are protected by a demonic force, it means they might come back to life. So what minions have we got going on? 6. Fungi folk. 2d6 fungi folk. 6 fungi folk. So they are level 3, they've got normal treasure. Any character taking damage from fungi folk must save versus level 3 poison or lose 1 life. Right, yo. Oh, this is a corridor, and the last one was a corridor as well. So only the 2 at the front can fight. Forgot about that. So only Dorazol and Quip can fight. So let's start with Dorazol first. 2, pretty rubbish. Plus 3, 3, 4, 5, which means kills a fungi folk. But we need to remember to roll, and on a 5 or 6, that fungi folk just immediately comes back to life. 1, brill. So 1 down. Then Quip has a go. 5. They're not outnumbered, so it's just 5, which is a bit of a shame. Oh no, wait a minute. Got a magic sword. So that gives +1 attack. My little attack description here is a little bit confusing. But that does mean that Quip has rolled an attack roll of 6, which could potentially kill 2. Let's see if either of them come back to life. Nope, they both stay down. Good news. So there's 3 left. Right, and they're going to attack. So they're going to attack the 2 at the front, because I believe that's the way it works. And only 2 of the monsters can attack because we are in this tight corridor. So the first fungi folk fella is going to attack Dorazol. Dorazol rolls to defend. Let's use Dorazol's dice. Dorazol defends. 6, successful defense, well done. And the other one's going to attack Quip. Oh, insta fail. insta-fail from Quip. That's a shame. So Quip, I think, just goes down 1. And the Fungi folk, they're poisonous, so he must roll a save versus level 3 poison. So I think he's got to roll 3 or more. 4. Okay, so he doesn't get poisoned. Cool. Dorazol attacks. 4 plus 3, 5, 6, 7. So that is going to kill 2. They might come back to life. Let's see if they roll a 5 or a 6. They do. So 1 comes back to life and 1 dies. So carry on, I guess. And now we're fighting a fungi folk and 1 undead fungi folk. Dorazol has done an attack. Quip's going to attack now. Oh dear. 2 plus 1 is 3, so he's only going to kill 1 fungi folk. And that fungi folk is going to roll to see if they come back because of the whole demonic force thing that's going on in this dungeon. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out for them on this occasion. And dead. Now, because we are at less than half of the original number, they're going to roll to see if they flee. They do not flee, or the final fungi fella doesn't flee. And so they get to attack. They're going to attack Quip. Nope, not Quip. Dorazol. Dorazol defends. 4 is a successful defense, yet they have to roll higher than the level of the creature, the enemy. So even without the bonuses, that's a success. Then Dorazol's going to attack back straight away. 1. Insta-fail. Annoying. Quip. 3 plus 1 for the sword, so that's 4. So that is a success. Of course, the fungi folk might come back to life, but it doesn't. So they're all dead. We've got normal treasure. Rolling on the treasure table. 3 gives us a scroll with a random spell. Cool. Okay, so let's just find out what that is. 6 scroll. Oh, we need to look at the spells table. Where's that? Random spell. That is the protect spell. So we will give that to Solana, since I think Solana's the only one who can actually cast spells. We're not a very magic-y crew. There we go. I'm not sure what that does, but we won't need to find out until we're in some kind of tricky situation. Alright, I think I might leave it there actually. I mean, I know we haven't explored much of the dungeon, but we did a lot of setup at the start, and hopefully in the next video we can get further into it. But I am pretty sleepy, so I'm going to stop there. Thanks very much for joining us in this 4 Against Darkness delve. Hope you enjoyed the setup with different resources being combined, and hopefully we will see more interesting twists and turns in our dungeon, populated by minions that are protected by a demonic force that contains a magical library. I'm the Lone Adventurer. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.